Hi, Becca C. Smith here, and today I am starting the journey to finish Dream Diaries 2. Dream Diaries 2 is the sequel to Dream Diaries, doesn't have a title yet. This guy is just being so lovey-dovey.
You just starved to show, aren't you?
It actually wasn't until I was here in Toronto and when Kate Kavanaugh came to visit, and then we got to meet up with Heidi F. from Listen, I Have an Idea. And Heidi, who is so sweet, she actually read Dream Diaries, the first book, and she really liked it. And she was like, is there, where's the sequel? I thought there was going to be a sequel. And it was in that moment that I was all like, oh crap. I actually wrote 50K, actually a little over 50K in that book. And I haven't opened it or looked at it in 2 years. And so I went back, I looked at it, and I only have 4 chapters left. 4. That's crazy. That's what this vlog's gonna be about, because I do have my project for this NaNoWriMo that I'm really excited for, but that's gonna be another video where probably in Preptober, since I'm gonna be so excited for NaNoWriMo coming. This is my journey to finishing Dream Diaries 2. So I guess I better get started. I am about to do a live write-in with Kevin and Jessica, and I'm very excited because I have not been working all day. After I gave that gung-ho speech, I wrote like 1,000 words, which I'm not saying is bad, but Snake is attacking a chair right now, if you're wondering what that noise is. Probably shouldn't do that, bud. This is a rental. I'm gonna try and finish this chapter because we're going to New York for the weekend for a wedding, a family wedding, and I'm not gonna have a chance to do any more chapters. And I really wanna finish next week. If I finish the chapter today, then I'll only have 3 chapters left. Maybe 4, I might have to add a chapter, but 3 or 4 chapters left. I can do that next week. I'm gonna do that next week, but I'm just hoping it'll flow tonight. That's what I'm hoping. We're on our 3rd, 4th sprint, and I finished my chapter. I finished the chapter. Seriously, I'm so excited. I know I still have more to go, but now I think I'm on a flow. I know where I want to go. I was really stuck with this scene because I had to get through it, and I just got through it. It's probably not the greatest, but it's done. So now I have to finish, like I said, 3 or 4 more chapters. I'm still not sure. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna add a chapter, so it's probably 4 more chapters. I can't seem to end. Every time I have 4 more chapters, I have 4 more chapters. It's a loop. But I won't be able to do it this weekend. I'll have to start next week. Oh, sprint is up. Last you saw me, I finished that chapter. It is Monday, and I'm going to start a new routine because I want to finish Dream Diaries 2 this week. I have about 15,000 words left to go, roughly. That's a guesstimate. It could be less, it could be a little more, but it's around 50K. So if I do about 3,000 words a day, I can be done by Friday. And I'm gonna kind of go back old school to like my old routine. I used to do 2 to 3 one-hour sprints. I kind of, because of all these live write-ins, have gotten into a habit of doing much shorter sprints, like 10, 15, which I really do enjoy. I love that kind of short spurts, 20 minutes, things like that. But I used to do hour sprints. That used to be my thing. Like back then, I couldn't even fathom doing anything less than an hour sprint. And now it just seems daunting to do an hour sprint. I don't know why so much could change in a year, but it has. So I'm going to try and get back into that habit because I get a lot more work done when I do that. Focused work. Now I end up working throughout the day, so those aren't the only hours of the day that I work, but at least I know for those, I'm gonna do 3 because usually I get about 1,000 words per sprint. So I figure 3,000 words a day, 15,000 words by the end of the week. I'm also somebody that works really well with a reward system. So I don't know if any of you guys have played World of Warcraft, but I played for a lot of years, and then it kind of just, with the new expansion, it just, I don't know, kind of lost interest. But just recently they re-released it as WoW Classic, so it went back to the original WoW, which is way more difficult. I forgot how hard it was to level. And I've been having a lot of fun with my husband, sort of playing new characters on Classic WoW. So that's gonna be my reward. I am going to do an hour sprint and give myself a half an hour to play. I'm going to do sprint number 1. It is Monday. Sprint number 1. First hour sprint done, and I got 1,041 words. So far, so good. I'm kind of on a roll. I almost want to do my second sprint and not give myself the reward yet. I kind of had this plan in my head, you know, sprint reward, sprint reward, sprint reward, but the day kind of got away from me a little bit. These chapters are probably going to be about 4,000. Which, like I said, technically, if they're 4,000, that means that I have to do 16,000 words by the end of the week, but I'm pretty much counting on that not all of them are gonna get completely to 4,000. So I'm still holding true to the 15K. Doing the live write-in.
Remember that? He goes, "'Cause I'm happy, do.
Should probably mute it. Doing the live write-in on Laura's channel with Laura and Kevin, and I'm getting some good work done. So far, I think the word count today has come up to about 2,000, which is pretty good. I think we probably have a couple more sprints, so hopefully I can get a little more than that. I won't be finishing this chapter, but I definitely will tomorrow. I just have to take it one day at a time, and it gets done when it gets done. But hopefully, I thought it was going to be this week, but I'm pretty much positive it's going to be done next week, if I'm lucky. All right, back to the sprints. Kevin's vlogging, so I'm vlogging. Getting some work done.
I haven't even started my vlog for this week.
We're in the new place. I'm going into week 3 to finish Dream Diaries 2. I had hoped I could do it in a week, but really, if you can hear that, that's construction, which we were hoping to avoid by getting into this new place so I could do my audiobooks. But the place does get really quiet in the evening after the construction is over. So I am going to attempt to do the audiobooks tonight. Cross your fingers. But it does mean that I have my days free and I'll be working audiobooks at night, which is good because, like I was just saying, I did not finish the book like I thought it was, but it was kind of ridiculous. I had about 20,000 words to go, and thinking I could do that in a week, I'm sure is definitely possible, but not really what I want to do, because this is the last part of the book. This is the cat and mouse. This is a mystery. This is the, you know, the serial killer is coming after them. They have to find him in dreams and things like that. So it's very creepy, action-packed, and something that I think requires a little bit more thought, even though I have it outlined. But I think that's the reason why I haven't gone back to it since NaNoWriMo 2 years ago, because I knew that it would really require a lot of thought and care to make it fun and exciting and hopefully suspenseful. So that's why I think it's taking me a while. Technically, if I finish this week, it will be 2.5 weeks, which I think is pretty good. But I made myself a reward deal. If I don't finish by Friday, then I don't get this reward, and I really want this reward. So I am going to finish this by Friday. I still have about 10,000 words to go. So if I finish on Friday, that means that's about 2,000 words a day, which is totally doable. That used to be my norm. What happened? I want to get back to that. And that used to be my norm, and it wasn't even that crazy. I've already done one sprint today, so I've already got 1,000 words, and I'm doing the second sprint. And then in the evening, I'm gonna do the audiobooks. But my reward is the new Zelda game comes out for the Nintendo Switch. But I will not allow myself to get the Nintendo Switch Lite and the new Zelda game unless I finish Dream Diaries 2. So that is a lot of motivation for me. All right, I'm gonna get back to it. Why are some books so much easier to write than others? I mean, not easy, but easier. I don't know. Dream Diaries 2 is hard. It's not that I don't like it. I actually like where it's going and where it's headed, and I think it's going to be really fun and action-packed and whatever, but it is difficult to write. And maybe that's because the main character's so close to who I am. Like, we're very similar. I don't know, because I think about it more in terms of what I would do, because it would be similar to what she would do. So maybe that's what holds me back. I don't know. But it is Tuesday, so getting there. Still have 2 chapters left, but I'm gonna keep going. I have been working all day. I have probably about 4,000 words, maybe 3,000 words left, and it's about 5 o'clock, and it is the 3rd Thursday that I've been doing this vlog. So technically 2 weeks, but 3 Thursdays. And the reason why I know that is because Kevin and Laura are having another live write-in that I plan on attending and hope to finish this book. I don't think I'll be able to do 3,000 words on their write-in, but I am not going to bed tonight until I finish this book. It's Thursday. I know I said I had till Snake. What's going on, boo? Knocking stuff over in the bathroom? I said I'd give myself till Friday, so technically I can, but I just thought how awesome it would be if I finish tonight, because then tomorrow morning I can wake up early and go to Best Buy and possibly, hopefully, get the Switch Lite and the new Zelda game. That's what I'm hoping. It might not even be available, let's face it, but I gotta try. So, not going to bed until I finish. I just woke up and I did not finish last night. It got late and it just wasn't happening. I had already written, I think, 4,000 words for the day, which is a lot for me. And it was 9 o'clock and I go to bed at like 10. So my brain was fried. So I'm going to finish this morning, hopefully. So I have probably about 3,000 words to go before I finish the book. 1,000 words down, 2,000 more to go, maybe more. I don't know. I still feel like there's more to the story and I'm finishing it up, so what can you do? Anyway, 1K down and I'm getting through it. I finished. I'm so excited, but this last chapter was rougher than I thought it was gonna be. A lot happens in it that's really heavy and sad, and I guess it's good that I cried while I was writing it. I don't know, but I am now emotionally exhausted, and even though I literally, my reward was getting to play the new Nintendo, I am too like emotionally exhausted to play, but that's okay. I'm sure I'll be over it in a couple of hours and be very excited about my reward. but I'm so happy I finished. I know it needs a lot of work. This is just the first draft, of course. And this kind of leads to a discussion I've been wanting to talk about on AuthorTube. It's unfinished works in progress. I've talked about this before, like when I first started writing screenplays when I was about 19, and I just kept starting them and not finishing them, and then finally my dad was like, just finish one. And even though that seems like obvious advice, it really hit me hard. And from then on, I always finished whatever screenplay I was working on, whether it was total crap or not, but at least I'd have a finished draft. And lately, in the last couple years, I've kind of got into that habit again that I did with the screenplays, where I was starting all these books and not finishing them. And Dream Diaries book 2 was one of those. I feel like the pattern sort of starts with NaNoWriMo, because I would do 50,000 words and then stop. And as you guys know, people that do NaNoWriMo, sometimes you get that burnout. And if you burn out after Nano and you don't have a finished draft, you really have nowhere to go except to finish it eventually. And I just have not been finishing them. I've been doing 50K and then not finishing. Last year's fantasy, I haven't even looked at it. And I did 50K of it, and that's it. And Dream Diaries 2, before that, did 50K of it. Didn't even look at it until a few weeks ago. So it took me about 2.5, almost 3 weeks to do the last 20,000 words. The rough draft is about 70K. So, oh, and then also I started the Hexsphere and haven't worked on that. So this was important to me to finish Dream Diaries 2 because I felt like I needed to complete some of these novels. But my question for you guys is a sort of discussion that I want to talk about, is that something that kind of happened with Hexsphere is that I hadn't been writing in it. Then I had a dream the other night that everything that I had written so far and the characters and everything were just wrong. It needed to be, the main character needs to be a teenager, and it needs to be a YA. And it was going to be just like a thriller mystery set in this crazy world that I was building. If I had finished the novel, I would have had a finished novel that I wouldn't want to use or wouldn't use. Probably wouldn't use anything from it because all the characters were old, you know, in their 20s, early 30s, wouldn't really have anything to do with a high school setting and teenagers. So sometimes not finishing is a good thing. Maybe it is an instinct or an intuition that's telling you it's not time to finish this book. Something about this book isn't right, so work on something else until you feel what you need to do is right. Does that make sense? So anyway, that's kind of where I was a little bit confused, because I was really focused and just like, nope, I need to finish things like I did back my screenplay days. And that worked for Dream Diaries too, so I'm very happy about that. But is it always true? There needs to be some kind of balance between discipline and intuition, or creative intuition, I guess. I confused myself. I'm basically what I'm trying to say. I'm very happy that I finished Dream Diaries 2 because it does feel good to have a completed novel that I'll be able to edit right after Nano, because I'm not going to even look at it until after Nano. Basically what I've decided in terms of Nano and how this affects me in terms of the discipline versus creative intuition is that from now on, when I do Nano, I'm going to finish a draft. Now my drafts are over 50K. My drafts are usually about 70K, my first drafts. That's what my goal for Nano is going to be. I know it's kind of extreme, maybe 60K, because you know, when you're writing in a month, I might skip over some descriptions and things like that I can fill in later. 60 to 70K is going to be my goal, because basically my goal is to finish a draft. I can no longer do NaNoWriMo of just doing the 50,000 words. I have to finish a draft. So that's kind of the conclusion I came to in terms of how I'm handling this discipline versus creative intuition. Anyway, I would love to know how you guys handle this. Do you have a bunch of works in progress that you've never that you don't finish, and they're just hanging around, and you move on to the next, and you move on to the next, and move on to the next? That's kind of how I was feeling what I was doing the last couple years. And like I said, that is not me. I always finish what I start just because I got that in my head way back in the day with my screenplays. I started getting into a bad pattern, and I realized it was because of the 50K burnout of NaNoWriMo. And if I didn't finish a draft, it wasn't getting finished. So that's the conclusion I came to. So I would love to know how you guys handle it. Do you guys make sure that you finish a draft during Nano? Or not even Nano, just in life? Do you just make sure you finish the draft and then move on to the next? Or you just keep on moving on to the next? Anyway, it's something that I'm very curious about because I know everybody's different. I've been writing for, you know, a long time. I'm still figuring out new patterns and habits and things like that. Thank you guys so much for joining this very long vlog because it took me 3 freaking weeks, but it's done. Yay! And sorry about the sirens. See, definitely not doing an audiobook right now. And I will see you in the next one.